Hey traders, this is Taylor with Top Pick Trading. Filling in for Marco today. He's got some errands to run this afternoon, so well, really evening for him. So, going to do a traditional chart review. Let me know how you guys like this compared to the bar by bar. A little quicker for me, and there was a lot of price action today. So, frankly, the bar by bar would probably take close to an hour. So, let's get started with the regular chart review. You can see we pretty much were stuck in this range through the early morning and couldn't quite get back to the highs here. Turned strongly, got a couple legs down, got the break from that big downtrend, and then just kind of chopped up and down. Never fully retested that low. So yeah, let's get started on the trades. So you can see through the overnight we had a couple legs down, found a bottom, rallied out of there. I drew this trend here. It looks like one of the overnight early breaks that kind of get ignored. Happens a lot since the volume's thinner. So otherwise this would have been kind of hard to find. But still, this is too early to trade, so it doesn't matter too much. There's clearly a break here at this 8:30 news item. You get the new high. Just the first entry there. Find some support in this area, but you got the new high. So you got to be kind of leery of this, and really you don't want to trade through any of that news. It looks like it does calm down probably right in through here. So we get a second entry long here, but there's a doji and the uptrend's played out like I mentioned. May have had this little spike in channel. And then we're just so sideways through here. I don't like anything through that. Delete this just for some clarity. We get a second entry short here, which is like also a triple test. But the EMA, you can see each of these swings kept holding. That's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swings. So I don't like the short on that either. See, it would have worked nicely, but you don't know that. Anyway, we push lower. Couple legs down. Chop sideways here. We get a second entry short and technically a failed second entry long, but it's just so sideways. It does confirm the key entry point. It's right at the EMA. Perfect bar. But look at that congestion. So I didn't mark it. Somebody took that. I kind of understand, but I can't take that. You get a lower high here, but right into the lows. So again, still in that congestion. So would have worked. Push lower. Now we've got this downtrend working. We would have had it off these three swings. It comes off the low of the downtrend. That's where you draw it to, and it fits nicely. We get a second entry here, but terrible bar. Pushes lower. We got another second entry here, but we've got that micro uptrend working, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 bull bars in a row, and the bearish bar is pretty big risk, and got a little congestion. Yeah, 19 ticks. So I don't like marking that. Push lower, bounces off that low of the trend line. That is, keeps pushing lower, pushes below this overnight level. We get a little bit of an overshoot from this yellow downtrend. Pushes back to the MA, turns into congestion. Get a second leg up here, and we get a second entry long right off that overnight level right here, important level. It would have been a little confusing at the time because you may have had it a little tighter like that, but it ends up having to just be a little bit wider. But regardless, you get a clear second entry. It is a little bit sideways, but these are up down bars. No dojis on that. And we're bouncing at that overnight low. So still a little bit aggressive because you may expect this downtrend to retest. But you got to keep the overshoot and the failed break in mind. You can see it takes a while to take off, but it does. And now at this point, we're clearly in this uptrend, especially when we get this second entry long here, right off of the EMA and the key entry point. Bar's huge, so you definitely want to try to take a limit on this. 22 ticks. It's just kind of high, but wow, look at the bullish power in that. So maybe if you can grab something back in here, easy several points there. We get a break from the downtrend. Attempt at a retest, get a higher low, but right into that resistance. Push up, same resistance level, turns down. So now we've tried a couple times to retest that high. Couldn't quite get there, but keep that in mind. Get a downtrend here, break, couple legs down, bounces right at that overnight low again. Push up, and we just start kind of going sideways. Nothing clear at all in this. It's a little like middle of this range. So turns off this resistance level, pushes strongly down. Back to those overnight lows again. Goes sideways for like 15 bars, bounces out of there. And you get another second entry long here. And technically, it broke. Well, no, it didn't break below here. So it is a true second entry. This one's a little further from the EMA and into some potential resistance area. The bars are still really strong. And this uptrend right here needs a retest after that kind of strength. So not as strong as this one here, but maybe with another limit order, 17 ticks. Another limit order right in here. It takes a little while to take off, but I think that's an okay trade. Gets the new high. Couple legs down, bounces at this range resistance, acting as support, pushes strongly out of there. Get a break, no setup. If we measure that, almost a measured move, couple points short, but we turn strongly there. And now we have this uptrend with two-legged correction, this uptrend. So this is probably the center of the pattern. This could be the end of the pattern. Push strongly down, right below the EMA. We got a first entry. We technically tick below here, but it just looks like two legs now. Pushes back up. You get the visuals failed second entry long. It's a little congested. I wish it closed a couple ticks better too, but I saw this live and I felt pretty good about it. It confirmed this downtrend right here. So I think this is an okay trade. Just it does look a little sideways, but given this bigger context of this all playing out and these two strong legs down, I like that as a visual failure. Pushes down pretty strongly. Hits this key entry point again. Pushes to the other side here. Oops. Develops the low of the trend line. Just everything so far down here. There may be another trend in here like this right here. Just chops downward and sideways. Everything so far. I don't like any of that. Gets an overshoot. Pushes back, congestion. Bounces right at those overnight lows again. Get two legs up. That gets a break. First entry, second entry, no good bar. And this may retest this red downtrend, keep in mind. So we're not necessarily looking for a long yet. You get the triple test up here, terrible bar. And you could go ahead and draw that trend line as a potential. I think I ended up having it. I felt pretty good about it when we developed these lows off that same level. But just keep it in mind at that point. So this is basically a double or triple top. You get a first entry, two legs up, first entry, second entry. You do break below here, so it's kind of a similar situation to this one where by the count's technically not a failure. But to me, that looks like two legs up, or two legs of correction, sorry. And then at the same time, you get a first entry short, second entry short, and this is a little tight congestion, so it kind of looks like a failed breakout of that. So still maybe somewhat kind of unclear in this area, but for those reasons, I like that trade as a little bit of an aggressive one. So then we push lower. Get a two-legged correction back to the key entry point that you would have drawn right here, this blue downtrend. It confirms it, but it's so sideways and into the low. No setups through there. Congestion, far from the EMA, same thing. Pushes down. There you go. You get that second touch off the lows of this yellow trend line, so you're thinking it's probably valid, especially when it bounces a few more times. I don't see any shorts through here so far from the EMA. Technically got a second entry short here, but we're coming off the lows of the yellow downtrend, and it's congested and not really back to the EMA yet. I don't like that. First entry there, nothing. It looks like maybe this yellow downtrend overshoots a little bit. It's kind of been the theme for today. These big downtrends are getting little overshoots. Happens the third time there. Pushes back, goes sideways. That's kind of what's happened every time. You get just a baby overshoot that turns into congestion below the EMA, and then eventually pushes out of there. That's what happens again here. You get a higher low, nothing there. You get a break from this uptrend, new high. You get this strong downtrend. You're thinking this yellow downtrend is probably going to retest. May get a couple legs of correction first though. At the time, I would have had something like this, but clearly when it ends up holding right in through here and the EMA holds on the break, to me that looks like a spike in channel. Um, so yeah, you get a failure in here, but it's so congested and so far. So right here, you get a first entry short. EMA holds really strongly. You get a second entry short. Unfortunately, the setup bar is the wrong color. Signal bar is a couple ticks off perfect. But I still marked it as aggressive because this is a really strong move down, and we're expecting a potential retest on this yellow downtrend. The EMA held after a couple swings, so maybe take that as aggressive. It would have worked pretty nicely. Breaks, gets the new low. We push up strongly again, which is somewhat unexpected. You may think you may go ahead and get the new low here, but a lot of times you'll get several legs of correction after a break of a big channel. So that's what happens. We push up higher, we get a higher low, no setup through that. Just a first entry. Then it looks like from these highs you can kind of draw this wider purple color trend. It gets the first entry again, higher low right into the highs. Second entry, all congested, nothing there. Looks like clearly an overshoot here though, and we came within a couple ticks of that key level here, you can see. So no surprise that we pushed down strongly from there. We get a visual failure, kind of the same ordeal as earlier, where technically the failure happens when we break below this bar, but this looks like the two legs. It's also a second entry short, but come on. Downtrend's played out, uptrend could get a retest. The bar closes so low, and look at the size of that thing. A mere 32 ticks, so no trade there. Now we get a second entry long here. It's also technically a triple test, really far from the EMA, but the bias is down, and we just push really strongly off that EMA there, so this scares me a little bit. You may expect a retest on this purple uptrend, but a lot of these trends haven't been retesting today, so especially after these overshoots that we've been getting. So may hold off on that. 16 ticks too, anyway. I mean, all the bars are big today, but still. Maybe if this pushed higher above the EMA and came back down, you take a chance there, but the fact that the EMA held, you had the strong move down and then two swings where the EMA held strongly, I don't like that trade. It's a little scary. We push up strongly. We do get two legs and an attempt at a retest. Don't make it there. Push back below the EMA. Sideways there, nothing there for me. You got this little range area. Turn off of that range. No setup, congested. Pushes lower. We pretty much go sideways. You get like a little failed breakout. But it's right back into this support level. And you could treat this as a double bottom. So if you saw this as a second entry, it's still into this support level where you can see we bounce strongly here, strongly here, strongly here. We did push through here, but you can see it held right here, and then you get the second entry. So the setup bar closes above the EMA as well, and the signal bar closes right at the EMA with a little bit of a wick. So if this closed really strongly, it would have been really tempting to skip out on, but this potential support level should keep you out, combined with that little bit of wick. So still a tough one. Looks like two clear legs up. Excuse me. So if you took that, I understand. But anyway, it ends up failing on you by a couple ticks, turning down and going right where you thought. And looks like maybe this was a downtrend, this yellow, but we ran out of time. The day ended. Oh well. Spiked strongly after the close, but yeah, we never retested that low by a few points. So yeah, so pretty much like a range day that kind of turned into a downtrend and then turned into another little range down here. So yeah, some decent trades. Still, the volatility was really high, so everything was rather risky on the amount of ticks you had to stake. So we had the second entry long. This one's aggressive. You had the second entry long right here. This one's less aggressive, especially if you got on a limit. I like that setup a lot. You had another second entry long, a little aggressive once again because you're far from the EMA. Here's some congestion. Limit needed for that one. Get the failed second entry long. Once again, not perfect because of that congestion. And closing just above that EMA. We push strongly down, and we get yet another aggressive trade, a second entry short, and a visual failed second entry long, almost like a little micro failed breakout too. Once again, aggressive, not perfect. Push strongly down. We get a couple layers of correction, then we get the spike and channel down and a retest expected on that with a second entry short here. Once again, not extremely clear because setup bar is the wrong color. Signal bar's got some wick and closes one tick bullish. So not perfect. I'd say the best setup is obviously the one I marked blue here. But if you just took that one trade, you know, you could have gotten, if you got a decent limit entry, you could have gotten 5 or 6 points. Yep, 7. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully I was a decent fill-in for Marco. Let us know your thoughts on if you like the chart reviews. I know you probably like the bar by bar more, but these are okay. We'll kind of try to mix in some more of these with the bar by bars, hopefully to be able to give y'all some more content. So yeah, thanks everyone, and y'all have a great weekend.